Hey guys, welcome back. I promised myself that I would do this video before I got to eat dinner, so here we are. So today I want to go over our plays from SPY. SPY calls ran over 200% if you used a trailing stop, and an NVIDIA bounce play that I wanted to show you. So both plays were called out in our Discord for our premium members. And again, 200% gains on the calls and decent gains on the NVIDIA calls if you played the bounce. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, you guys saw that I called this actually probably the last few of these bounces here and drops on the SPY hourly. So yesterday we played puts, and as you can see here, we played puts during the day. What did I see? Well, I saw we were rejecting off of two things: the top of this trend line here, this uptrend line, and also the top or the bottom of this trend line that we actually dropped out of here. And this one goes all the way back. If you look, this one goes all the way back to October of last year. So October 23. We've been trading in this uptrend channel for a while now, and we broke down out of it. I called this drop as well. We did get our little bounce, which again I called this bounce. And again, yesterday I said let's watch for puts. Again, why did I watch for puts? Well, we were rejecting off the bottom of this trend line, as well as, let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see, as well as the top of this trend line. So of course we're going to play puts, and those puts printed over 100% yesterday. Fast forward to this morning. So in the Discord I called out this morning, as you can see. Let's just go to this morning. So we had our regular watch list. SPY, looking at the charts, and I also called this out the night before to kind of keep an eye out for this thing. SPY, we're looking at the charts. It looks like a small bounce is still the most likely scenario. However, with the Fed meeting today, we're starting to err on the side of caution. Once we get past that meeting, we should be fine for swings. Fast forward to about an hour later, and this is, I guess I can call it the NVIDIA 850 support is crucial. Watch for a bounce here or the bottom to fall out underneath it. So let's just jump to NVIDIA real quick, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So how did I know 850 was a key level? Well, look at all this action right around 850 recently. So I knew 850 was a critical level here. This is this green line. Is it 850-ish? And I knew that was a critical level for us to hold there. If you look here at about 10 o'clock, we got our bounce right about when I called to look out for it. And the next signal, we got a buy signal on the Q trend. And we ran all the way up to where this downtrend is now forming, okay? So you could probably look to, now NVIDIA's got that conference going on this week, but you could probably look to short NVIDIA here if it continues to bounce. If it doesn't break out, I mean, obviously if it breaks out, you want to look at calls, but we'll see. We're not going to have to worry about that till tomorrow morning. So again, make sure you're following that watch list. I post every morning. I tell you what the fuck to look for, so I'm throwing underhand pitches to you guys. You should be smacking out of the park here. So that's the NVIDIA play. Let's talk about SPY. So again, going back to that message, I said, again, this is this morning, right? I said, look out for this for a bounce this morning. It's the most likely scenario. Then let's fast forward to 10 o'clock here, which is this candle here. So let's see what I said. So at 10:30, or I'm sorry, 10:53, part one. After hours of pre-market, I said we should watch for this bounce playing out right now. So look to play SPY calls for options or SPXL for shares. All right. So here's what it looked like at the time. It looked just like this, and you could see we were starting to bounce here. This is the downtrend I was just looking at, and that's what it looked like here. So obviously we didn't get that push upward yet, but I could see that that's what was coming. So let me just go back to that. So here was our downtrend, right? and I could see these candles are red. They're green now, but they were red at the time. I could see that this bounce was coming. Okay. So I said, let's jump in and spy calls here. So we jumped in. So let's go back and I'll just show you the play. So pre-market, I said to watch this bounce. Now let's fast forward to a few minutes later. Here's part 2 of the post. Now we zoom in on the 5-minute chart. Instead of blindly entering, we can wait until we bounce off the bottom of this channel shown here as a potential entry position. So you'll see this happened at about 10 o'clock. And obviously I was calling this out afterwards, but this was our initial entry here. That was the best entry to get into. However, as you guys know, I always say you can play any of these bounces. So wait till it comes down. As long as it bounces off this trend line, which it did, I think 3 or 4 times. We'll look here in a second. But that's a potential entry. And I do get into that. I'll show you a little bit easier. Again, you can take profits or trailing stop. There's our entry. And look, boom, boom, boom. Okay. Here's our entry. Okay. You got another entry point to add here. And you got another entry point to add here. And I think there were actually more. But let's go to the real, the live chart, I guess you can say. So again, here's a little uptrend. That's how it played out. Obviously, these calls ran insanely over 200%. But let's zoom in. All right. So again, we're going back to the hourly chart. So we're just zooming in on today, the 5-minute chart. Now we want to look at this right here. Okay. So let's look at the 5-minute chart and see what we're working with. Now you'll see I haven't talked about any of my other indicators here, and I'm doing that on purpose because I'm trying to show you how simple this is. Just looking at trend lines and, really nothing else at the moment. Granted, you can work in these other indicators. I'm not saying don't work in these other indicators, but in this instance, you don't need to. And in many instances, you don't need to. It's just support and resistance. And then you'll see that the buy signals of what I teach you with Qtrend, the MACD, all that stuff works in together, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. But let's take a look at the uptrend. So here was at the original entry here, okay? And then you had, boom, you had an opportunity to get in here. Boom, you had an opportunity to get in here. And then I actually called out a profit point. Why? Why did I call it a profit point here? Okay, I said, here's probably good. And the calls were up over 200% at this point. Why did I say, okay, let's get out here? Well, look, we had been trading up in this channel, and we finally got to resistance on the channel, the top of this channel we were trading in. And look how we just shot right off it, right? And that was our point. That was our exit point, I guess you can say. And again, it's really as simple as that. On top of that, we're getting a little close to the bottom of this trend line, which we have not. So this is kind of jumping a little bit ahead. So what are we looking at now? Okay, so let's zoom back out. Okay, let's go back to the hourly chart, right? So here's the hourly chart, and you can see again, this is this uptrend we've been in since October, right? And this is just a smaller channel that we've been trading in here. Now, we've broken out of this channel that we've been trading in since October. That's a big deal, okay? However, we're trying to break back in the channel. However, we have not broken in back yet. As a matter of fact, if you zoom in, let's zoom in here so you guys can see. All right. So we came down, we dropped out of the channel, we came back up, tested it, couldn't jump back in, drop back down, and now we're testing it again. Okay. So until we jump back in this channel and stay in the channel, I wouldn't get super bullish, okay? Because right now what's happening is we're just retesting this resistance here, okay? Now, if it rejects off here again, there's a good chance that we continue to go down, all right? Tomorrow's the Fed meeting. Jay Powell's going to come out. So a lot of stuff may come out of the wash here tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. So for the tomorrow, the rest of the week, that's what I'm looking for. Are we going to reject here and head back down? Or are we going to break back out, head back into the 520-ish area and head back into this channel and become bulls once again? Because right now we're kind of right now, obviously you can be bearish, bullish, bearish, just like we did, right? This doesn't look like a lot, right? This was 200% gains plus on these calls. So it doesn't look like a lot. It is a lot. That being said, in terms of the longer term trade, again, this channel is going back to October. I showed you once, I'm not going to show you again. You can look on your own chart. But obviously this channel is very important. So what we do with this channel, do we redefine this channel and expand it? Or do we was this just kind of a blip, something that happened like something here, all right? Or like if we go back, I guess over here it happened a little bit, not much. Again, these are just little blips. So this is kind of a bigger blip. This is more concerning, but we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see how it plays out. Tomorrow's a big deal. We're going to get some color from Jay Powell. Obviously, nothing's going to happen. There's no rate cuts tomorrow. You could bet your paycheck on that. But is there going to be color? Because investors and traders are going to be looking for color. When are the rate cuts coming? That's the big $1 million question, right? So everybody's going to be looking for, and peel to the TV for comments and peel to the Fed comments as well, not just Jay Powell, but to get some color on what's going to happen. So right now we are at a big crossroads. So, whatever happens here, and again, this is just the last few days here. We came out of this channel, big deal. Looked like we were pushing up. Nope. Come back down again. Now we're pushing up again. So what happens here is very, very important. What happens tomorrow is probably going to be the catalyst to whether we start tanking for real, or we jump back up into this channel and we continue our push higher to new all-time highs on the SPY and the NQ on the NASDAQ. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. If you guys know me, I don't really like to guess what's going to happen. I kind of like to see both sides of the coin, have a plan A and a plan B, and then react accordingly. These guys that are super bearish, that, I know some idiots that have been in SPY puts for a year, you know what I mean? Who have been in SQQQ for a year, the triple leveraged index. Oh, the market's going to drop. Oh, the market's going to drop. Oh, the market's going to drop. And then, throughout this uptrend, you get these little drops, right? And they say, see, the market's dropping. And then we bounce higher. And see, the market's dropping. And then we bounce higher. And this happens, and you can see this just happens constantly. Now, we did not, until this point here, we did not drop out of this channel. So again, this is a big deal that we have finally dropped out of the channel, but it remains to be seen if this was just a blip, and we're going to retake this channel and continue trying higher within these two channels here, or we're going to reject this, head lower starting tomorrow, and start heading lower for real. So keep your mind open as to what can happen. And again, I will update this daily. If you're not watching this watch list and you're not in it paid for itself today, and one day the premium membership paid for itself, and everything else is just icing on the cake, there's no reason you guys should be struggling in the market. There's no reason you should be overly bullish or overly bearish, right? Especially right now. Like I said, we're at a crossroads. So, you know, do what you want, obviously. But if you're not having success, maybe join the team that's having success and knows what the fuck they're talking about. Just saying. Um, we have a free Discord, free section of the Discord. Costs nothing to join. And I'm actually going to start running a promotion starting next month that I will guarantee you that you will be a better trader within 1 month of you signing up. And if not, I'll give your money back. Now, there are some caveats to that. You will be required to check in once a week on Friday and let me know if you're struggling. Then we need to know where you're struggling at, so we can put you on the right track. And if you're having success, then there's no problem, right? Yeah, there's no reason you guys should be struggling, so that pretty much covers everything. We covered tomorrow. We covered the play. You guys saw here, so that's why I said SPY calls, And what am I looking for now? Well, if we reject off here, we'll have to see what happens here pre-market. We're kind of going sideways right now. Tomorrow's going to be a big day, so we have what? Less than 12 hours now till Jay Powell comes up and talks. So you're probably going to see a lot of sideways action up until then. But it was funny because people were kind of seeing this price action early. And they said, well, this is a boring day around 10 o'clock. And I said, hold on 1 second, because we're bouncing here. And then we just fucking took off. Then just for shits, we actually we started dropping here, and I said I called out pretty much right on the dot. I said, look, if I had to put money on it, I said we're gonna close over 5. We're gonna bounce here, and this was at like 5 or 325, and you can look at the chart here, right at the bottom. And I said I would put my money that we're going to close. This was at 5:14, 30, 40. I said we're going to close over 5:15 for sure. Not for sure. I didn't say for sure. But we're going to close. I would put my money that we're going to close over 5:15. And we bounced hard into close, and we closed almost at 5:16. So charts, man. And I make it easy. I make it easy for you guys to understand. I'm really trying to make it simple for you guys to follow and understand. So please, if you like the content, like and subscribe to the content. It helps the channel out. And I think I'm putting out good content. I've been on fire. I've been right on point. Especially the last week or so. And that was at the same time while I'm dealing with some emotional distress and bullshit in my life right now. So I'm happy with the way things are playing out, but this really isn't, abnormal either. Again, we're just trading the trend. I don't know how many times I can say that. We're not bulls. We are not bears. We just make money, and it's really simple as that. So if you guys again, comment, comment what you think. If you agree, if you disagree, throw it out in the comments. Also, I will post our free Discord in the comments, and that's got some value too. So don't underestimate the free Discord. If you don't want to pay for it, that's fine. Join the free Discord. Anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go get something to eat now, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.